Hi everyone, welcome back to another tutorial, and guess what? I made this super sparkly bracelet. I absolutely love it. It's not big and bulky, so if you're looking for big and bulky and chunky, this is not your style of a bracelet. It's actually very slim, but it's extremely pretty with the Swarovski crystals in it, and that's all I've used, and it fits perfect on my wrist. I love it. And for this project, you don't need a whole lot of supplies. You do need Swarovski crystals. So I'm using, okay, so this is a size 8, well, roughly a size 8 bracelet. So from there to there, it's exactly an 8. I want to make this a 7 because I want to make my sister one, and she likes this color. So I'm going to make it in this color. So I'm going to use exact same beads in here as I did, or in the new one as I did in this one. So I'm going to be in this one here. I used 13 6mm Swarovski Bicones, and these are the crystal Labrador, kind of like, I don't know, they're like a smoke diamond maybe, with the silver on one side. It's a very pretty bead. And then I'm using this pink opal, really gorgeous, in a 4mm, and you're going to need, if you're making an 8, you're going to need 13, and you're just going to have to judge it. I'm making a 7, so I need 11. I'm only going to use 11 6mm. In here I used 24 4mm Bicones in the Swarovski, so this one here I'm going to be using 20. And I'm going to be using a 15 seed bead, and I'm also needing 11 seed bead. And this is done, I don't know, I had a bag of these, and I really don't know the color of them, but they are like galvanized silver. Looks like stainless steel to me. It's just the color of them. They're really, really pretty. I don't know the color of them, but they are they're on the dark side of a galvanized silver. We're also going to need a cut button. If you want to use a cut button, I am going to use, oops, my tube is stuck, or the cut buttons are stuck in, there we go, inside the tube. So I am using the crystal Labrador, and this is actually the same color as these, but these are a black diamond. Okay, so you'll need one cut button. I'm using a size 10 beading needle and 6-pound Fireline in a smoke color. And I've just strung on here about a yard of Fireline, but you are going to need more. Depending on how big you make your bracelet, it's going to depend on that, how much Fireline you're going to have to add. In this one here, I've added, I added my about a yard and a half, and then when I got to the end of this part, I had to add another length, and this was what was left of it. So it's quite a bit. I used too much. So let me get started here and show you what you need to do first. So I am going to use a stop bead that's going to stop our project from falling all over the place. So let me just grab any kind of bead here. Actually, this one's too small. Let's use an 8. We'll use an 8. There we go. It's the same color bead, but alright. So you're going to string on your stop bead, bring it down to the end, leave yourself a little tail, because we're going to be tying off this tail when we meet with it. So you're going to run your needle through your bead 2 times. So we're just going to wrap it 2 times. It just helps secure it a little bit. Okay, so once and twice, like that. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is pick up a 6mm bicone. Let that fall down to your work. Okay. So my thread's coming out this way. This is my working thread. Whoops. All right, let's get a little wee bit closer. Okay, so this is my working thread here. Now you're going to pick up, I'm working with my 11/0s, pick up 7 11/0s, like this. Now you're just going to come back and go from the bottom where the tail is. This is the tail. Okay, come back and make a circle and just add those 7 beads like that. And do it again on the other side. Add 7 beads. And we're working with the 11/0s right now. Now you're going to make another circle and go back through your bicone like that. Okay, like that. And pull tight. Now you want to be in these 3 middle beads, so 7 beads, so you're going to have 2 beads on each side. So you're going to go through the first 2 like this and down the next 3. So you should have 2 more on this side here if you've done it right by putting 7 beads on. Okay, and you're going to have to keep your work pulled tight. Alright, so now you're going to pick up 3 11/0s. My thread's exiting here at the bottom. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, go up 3 beads, and I'm going to make a circle, right angle weave, like that. Okay, and pull. And then you're going to sit these beside the other 3. And then you're going to bring your needle back up into the 3 that you just put on. So keeping your work pulled tight, this is kind of what you would call ladder stitch. Pick up 3 beads. Alright, coming out here, I'm going to go through the other end and make a circle. Like that. Okay, and now we need to, whoops, pull this all nice and tight. Put your needle up and go through the last 3 beads you just put on. So now you have this. This looks a little wonky, but don't worry about it. It's only because your stop bead's there and it's pushing everything around. Now, doesn't matter which end you're exiting out of. If I could flip this over and come out of this end, I could flip it, come out of that end. It really doesn't matter. Pick up 2 11/0s, 1 of your 6mm crystals, and 2 11/0s, like this. And now you're going to make a circle and go back into those 3 beads like that. And pull. Now you're going to go through these 2 beads where you're right beside where you're exiting. Here. And pull tight. And back into your crystal. Okay, so you have this. Now you're going to pick up 7 11/0s. So I've got 7. I'm going to come around and make a circle and go through my 6mm like that and give it a pull. Okay. Now you're going to go back down here through the 5 beads. So the first 2 here, pull tight, and down through these 3. So that makes 5 beads, like that. Pick up 3 11/0s on your needle, come around and make a circle and go through these 3 beads, like that. And we're going to begin the ladder stitch again. So we're just basically putting a ladder stitches between the bicones, and put your needle back through the 3 beads that you just put on. Pick up 3 more and put your needle through this way like that, and then put your needle back into those 3. So you're exiting out of the 3 you just put on, and give it a good tight pull. And this is what you should have, like that, beginning of your bracelet. Now, whoops, missed one. Kind of thought it looked wonky. There we go. Okay, so now we're back to putting a crystal on. So you're going to pick up 2 beads, 2 11/0s, one of your 6mm and 2 11/0s, like this. Okay. And then you're going to make a circle and go back through all 3 of those beads, like that. And pull. And place your crystal there. Now go through those 2 beads and back into your crystal, like this. And now pick up 7. 7. And then make a circle and go back through your crystal like that. Okay. And now we're going to begin our ladder stitch. So we're going to go through these 2 beads and these 3. So there's 5 beads. Keeping our work pulled nice and tight. Okay, now we're going to pick up 3 11/0s. Go through those 3 beads like this. And then put your needle back through those 3 you just put on. Pick up 3 more. Make a circle and go through those 3. Okay. And then back into those 3. And keep your work pulled tight. Especially between your crystals here. Make sure you don't have any loose threads there. And if you're finding it's loose, weave your thread back through them and tighten them up. That's all you have to do if you find them getting too loose. So we're exiting out of there. Now you're just going to continue to do this all the way down. Pick up 2, a crystal, pick up 2, and put your needle through all 3 like that. Bring it up through the 2 and through the crystal. Okay, and then you're just going to add 7 beads. Make a circle and come back through your 6mm crystal like that. And then go through first 2 and the next 3. So that's 5 beads. That's it. Okay. So I'm going to go offline. I'm going to finish doing exactly like this. I'm going to make put on the rest of my crystals. So I have 2, 4, 6, 7 more to put on, and then I'm going to come back and show you what to do next. Okay, I'm at the end here. I'm going to put the last row on, but I forgot to tell you, you're going to need 1 more bicone for your cup button. I put one in the top here, and I put a 6mm, and I'm going to use a 5 in it this time, or 4mm. So I'm just going to use 1 more crystal. So you're going to need 1 extra one for your cup button. Okay, so I've put in all 11 beads on, and we're going to pick up 7 beads like so. I'm going to go through here. Now, oh, we got a problem. We have 8 beads. Oopsies. Take 1 off, like that. Goodbye. 2, 4, 6, 7. And actually, I don't like this bead, so I'm just going to fling this one away. Goodbye. Land on the floor somewhere and get sucked up in the vacuum. Alright, so through these 2. So we're going to do the ladder stitch at the end too, same way we did between our crystals. So before we put our cup button on, make sure you do your 2 rows of 3 beads That's all I'm doing is picking up 3 beads. Whoops. Got loose. I pretty much like to pinch everything between my fingers. And it doesn't move on me. It doesn't get loose. Alright, one more. Alright, and now exit through your 3 beads. And as you can see, I added on thread. I have a longer thread. I cheated. Okay, so what we need to do now is pick up 2 11/0s. Your cut button, go through one end of your cut button. Okay. Pick up an 11/0, a 4mm crystal, and 11/0. And go drop down in the other side of your cut button. Oopsies, we don't want this to cut our thread. Please don't cut my thread. Okay. Missed crystal. Alright. Now you're going to pick up 2 more, like this. And you're going to go through the 3 beads that you originally came out of. So you have your 2 you added at the start, and we're just going to make a circle and attach our cut button like that. Now we're going to reinforce this, so go back up through the first 2 seed beads, the cut button, and through that seed bead on top. Make sure you catch that in your one pass, and then through the 4mm, back down through the seed bead, the cut button, and the other 2 seed beads at the bottom, like this. And then back through your base, which is your 3 beads. Okay, and I'm going to go through this one more time. So up through the 2, the cut button, and the 1 bead, through your bicone, oops, tail's in there, and back down through the bead, the cut button, and those 2. Now, I think 3 times is pretty sufficient. So now make sure you go through your 3 beads on your base row, and don't do what I did and just jump across. Go through those like this, and then weave your way back through here, and this will tighten up also your ladder stitch in there where it's holding your cut button, so you know it's nice and tight there. Alright, so you're exiting out of this ladder, these 3 beads here, out of the 7 of your crystal. Go through the first 2 beads here. Okay, and as you can see, there's an opening here. So all you're going to do is pick up one of your 11/0s and exit through just the first bead across. Okay, don't go in any of these beads here. Just go into that first seed bead and pull. So now it's going to snug this up here like that. Alright, so now you're only exiting out of that first seed bead. Pick up one 11/0, one of your 15s, your 4mm, a 15, and 11/0. So this is what I have on my needle. Okay. Now, you're exiting out of that bead. You're going to come across into this next group here, but only exit into the bead closest to your Swarovski crystal and pull that in place. Alright, now we're going to have to add a seed bead in there because there's the big gap. Pick up 1 and exit through only 1 seed bead like that and pull. Pick up an 11, a 15, your 3mm or your 4mm, a 15, and 11. Okay, come across, skip all these beads across, and only exit out of the one right where that big gap is, and pull. Pick up 1 11/0, go across into the next 1 bead, and this is how you're putting on your embellishment. I don't know if you can see how beautiful that is, but it's absolutely stunning. I love it. I love the little bit of sparkle too. Maybe not a little bit, there might be a lot. Okay, so if you're paying attention, you're going to get this right. So you're going to pick up an 11, a 15, a 4, a 15, 11, and you're going to skip all these beads here, and you're going to exit only in that first bead where the big gap is, like that. Pick up an 11 and go into that one. Okay, so I'm going to go finish this side all off camera. All right, and then when I come back, I'm going to show you how to put your fancy dancy closure on, so your cup button closes perfectly, like that. See? Love these cup buttons, and it kind of gives it a really nice finish on your whole entire bracelet. All right, coming back. All right, I'm at the end here, and I didn't put my very last bead because I want to show you what to do. Here is my last crystal, so you're just going to pick up an 11/0 to fill up that gap and go through the first 2 beads to fill in the gap, and then you're going to go into the next 3 beads like this on the side. Okay, so now we're going to begin the ladder stitch same way we did the other end. Pick up 3, go back through 3, like that, and in there. Actually, I want to take my stop bead off because I'm going to be tying this off soon. Pick up 3 and go through those 3, keeping everything pulled tight, and then exit into those 3 there. Now, depending on what kind of seed beads you use, I believe these are my Yukis. I believe they are. I am going, or Tohos, whatever. They're all the same. The Czech seed beads are a little tiny bit smaller, so I'm picking up 24 because that's going to be enough. 10. 21, 2, 3, 4. All right. Okay, so now we have our 24. You're just going to come around and join it through these 3 beads here on your base where you started, like that. Pull it tight. And now you're just going to go all the way around and reinforce it. And I'm going to go through it at least 3 times. So this is number 2. Through my base. Ew. Pull it. And oh, what did I do? Oops, nothing. All right. Again, one more time. Good and strong. Because your closure always gets the most wear and tear on your bracelets, so it's best to always give good amount of reinforcing on all your closures as much as you can. Okay. Now I'm going to just exit through these 3 beads on my base row here. So you can see my loop is nice and snug and tight. So now, oops, this came loose. So now just work your way down in the ladder stitch. crossing over, going through your 3 beads, go up through these 2 beads, okay, that are right there, and now we're going to tie off this tail thread, okay. So now I'm going to do a surgeon's knot, so that's wrapping my thread around the loop twice, like that. Don't pull too tight that you distort your bracelet. Okay, now pick up, or wrap it around twice again. Now, before you pull this last loop, I'm taking a tiny bit of super glue glue, tiny bit, ever so little, and I'm just going to drop a wee pinch on that edge and pull. All right, so that's going to secure that knot. Let it dry for a bit. So now you should be exiting right on the other side where you need to go across. So you're going to pick up 1/11, let your knot dry, and go through your first 2 beads like this. Okay, so that is not pulling tight here. It will. Okay, so continue with your embellishment. 111, 115, 14, 115, and 111. Remembering to only exit into that last bead just before your there we go. Now we got our snuggy tight. Not really. Somehow this got loose on me here. And I'm going to have to go back. Alright, I'm going to go back out. And I'm going to do a little bit of playing around until, see how this became loose? When I tied my knot, it came loose on me. I know I can't do anything because I glued it, so we'll just fix that. So I'm just going to go back down into this one here and tighten this up with in the ladder stitch. Nothing is impossible. But now we're exiting. There we go. That's all tightened up. And now we can snip off this thread. Now I'm just going to go through these 2 beads. So it's actually the 7 beads, the initial 7 beads, and I'm going to go back up. Oops, can't do that. So what you're going to do is tie a 1/2 hitch knot here. Pull it between the beads. Now go right back out through these 7 beads. There we go. Nicely tightened up. Now we're exiting out. We'll be exiting out of the seed bead I need. No, we're not. Darn. Actually, I'm just going to go right back out. That's good and reinforced, I can promise you. We need to be... Leave it to me to screw things up. We were going the right way and now we're going the wrong way. So, this is how I do it. I'm going to cheat. I just tie 1/2 hitch knots between seed beads. Make sure you catch the right ones. Alright? And then I'm going to exit out of that bead right there that I need. Okay? So there should be your 3, your 2, the one you put in between, and now back to this. So now we could pick up our sequence of beads. If you're ever in doubt, just tie a 1/2 hitch knot and go right back through your work. It's super easy to do. Right, so now we're going back in the right direction. Very good, Ruby. I'll pat myself on the back. by no means. But like I said, this was loose in here, this one here after the knot, and I didn't like it. So I'm really picky like that because Fireline over time stretches, and you really don't want your bracelet to stretch. Okay, so that's all I'm doing. I'm going to continue embellishing this side. Okay, I'm going to come back, show you how to tie it off. Look at how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? Just absolutely love this. And the sparkle is phenomenal. All right, see you back here in a few minutes. Okay, so I'm getting ready to put my very last bead on. And that would be in this gap here. So I'm just putting my last bead on, and now we're going to tie this off. So I just run my needle through beads, pulling tight now. Like so. So always when you end in a bead, just go through a few beads before you start tying off. So I'm just going to start tying off, and I'm just going to do one wrap. Okay, because I'm going to tie a whole whack of knots. Not a whole whack, but a good amount. So I'm going to go through this bead here, the 15-0, like that, through the crystal and out the 15-0. All right, and then I'm going to tie there now. So I'm just tying just past that 15-0, pull. And we'll tie another one here. So your bracelet is really nice, and you know, it's not super loose. It's quite, actually, it's quite firm. It's pretty. All right, now, don't know, there we go. I'm following my thread path on the outside of the embellishing. So I don't want to put a knot inside the crystal. So I'm going to go exit it through that crystal and through the 15-0, just because the 15-0 is so tiny. I don't want to hide a knot in there. All right, so I'm going to wrap twice now, and this is going to be my last knot, like that. And I'm going to put a dab of glue. Oh, too much. Just want a little tiny bit. Okay, and then you're going to pull that, and you're going to pull it tight. There we go, before the glue dries. And then get into that bead and pull that knot inside like that. Easy peasy. The only thing is with this glue here, it dries super fast. This super new glue. I bought this from Beadaholique, but you can probably get it anywhere. I don't know, but I found it to be pretty reasonable price there. They're the first ones I ever seen use super new glue, so love it. That's why I bought it from there. I think it was $4 something for that bottle, but I'll tell you what, that bottle goes a long ways because you only need little tiny dabs of. Okay, that's all I did was run through some beads now after I've tied my knot and snip off your end. And there is your really gorgeous bracelet. So let me measure this and see if it is 7 inches. If my calculations worked, or if I need to go back to school and learn some more math, because, well, it's about 6 3/4. Yeah, it's 6 3/4 from there to there. So I am epically failed. That's a very small bracelet. It may not even fit my sister, but that's okay. I don't care. It's mine anyways. As long as mine fits, I don't care about hers. That's me. I should care. I absolutely love this bracelet. Look at that. Very sparkly. And that's why I called it Diamond Sparkle, because it sparkles like diamonds. Beautiful. Anyways, guys, I hope you had fun and you enjoyed this tutorial, and you stay tuned and subscribed, and you like all my videos. If you enjoyed it, give me a big thumbs up. And I guess I'll see you guys soon on the next video. Bye, everyone.